It's a multi-award-winning program reaching you live from TVC News, and I still have Dotun Oladipo and Sam Ibimere with me in the studio. We should have seen it coming that the attending effects of the rising insecurity in Nigeria will be food shortage. That situation is already upon us. The Middle Belt Forum has raised an alarm over massive destruction of over 45 farmlands by criminal herdsmen in several communities in Plateau State. The group laments that cutting down of crops and cutlasses by criminal herdsmen could throw the country into hunger and food shortage. Meanwhile, Governor Nasiru El-Rufai is worried over the hardship caused by insecurity in the states. Speaking in Kaduna on the state of insecurity, Governor El-Rufai said the real agony is reflecting on the lives of the citizen. We have two-faced story here now. The Middle Belt Forum and the attendant effects of the crisis we have around the country. Automatically, this is going to get worse if the situation does not change.
Well, it wasn't as if we didn't know it was going to happen. But now the reality is here. Last year, a bag of Gary in Lagos, at some point, early in the year, was about 8,000. The last time we checked, about 2-3 weeks ago, it had gone up to 26,000.
A bag of Gary?
Yes, sir. That's if it's not more now. So,
a bag of Gary.
This is what we produce here. We don't import. But those things that we import that we can put as part of the production process will be fertilizer and all the rest. But here, we have the opportunities to produce cassava massively. We are talking about 45 farmlands now. We've had it in the last 3-4 years, so many of them. So by the time you put all of this together, you begin to see that farmers can no longer go to the farm. In Plateau and Benue, especially, we are no longer hearing about all the projects that the International Institute for Tropical Agriculture is doing. IIT, because nobody can go there again. Nobody wants to risk his own life. So all the varieties of things that we have had in place, big mangoes, huge tubers of yam and all the rest coming from those places, they are gone. Wow. And yet, it's only one factor, insecurity. So what it means is, apart from those that guns will kill, we have a larger number that will die from hunger. Because let's put it in real time. A man earns 30,000 naira as wage in a month, minimum. And he has 4 children. How does he feed them with a bag of Gary at 26,000? A bag of rice is in the region of 30,000. We are calling big figures. And these are Nigerians whose capacity economically is low. So we are going to have many more dying from hunger.
It's not limited to the northern part of the country. It's not limited to, we have that situation too in the south.
Yes. But the Middle Belt has always been referred to as the food basket of the country. The way insecurity has spread is not just alarming. It is one that has made a lot of critics, to want to brand Nigeria as a country that is heading towards, a failed state. In the southwest, you have crisis. In the southeast, you have crisis. All over the place, But you and I know that, the bigger problem lies in the northern part of the country. In fact, data that were shared by the Kaduna State government itself, over just a quarter, second quarter, said 222 persons were killed, arising from bandits and bandit attacks and communal clashes. You have 774. These are figures reeled out by the government. In fact, in the case...
And which are not
It was some Aruan that was
Yes,
giving the security
and which
reports.
are being disputed.
In fact,
Maybe
the same Sam, the commissioner for his internal security,
Yes,
whatever,
Anoma,
said
yes.
that in 12 local governments, farmers are being made to pay tax.
Yeah.
We're not quoting outsiders. That is the Kaduna State government saying that 12
Reports
Ayo, there are 23 local governments in Kaduna State, meaning that more than half of Kaduna State
is under siege.
Is under siege, and people are being made to pay taxes to bandits before they can go to farms.
Ransom demand rose to 10 billion naira.
It's a major crisis for us, and I don't know how else the government at the center can better appreciate the level of insecurity in the country. We just pretend it's okay. That is Kaduna. Same thing in Niger. All right? And we're talking about food prices. Of course, like Dotun said, we have been hit with the reality. We thought it was going to take a while to come. We can't pretend anymore. This country is being overrun by challenges of insecurity. And people are going to starve. It's just going to take a short while.
Did you get the figure from the Southern Kaduna People's Union?
Who is going to help Kaduna State? Because the way I'm looking at Governor Nasir El-Rufai, it's as if he has resigned to fate. The man is so overwhelmed. You're a chief security officer. You don't even have a state police. You don't even have people at the beck and call. Now he's telling people not to pay ransom, and he's sticking to his gun that he will not still pay ransom. And you still have these bandits running riot all over the place. Kaduna is under siege.
Yeah. For me, I don't see any governor being in any position to do anything. It is what you have from the federal that you make use of. There is nothing they can do other than to support those who are on ground.
Nasir El-Rufai is close to this government.
Yeah, but what is the reality? If you have shortage of manpower, from where will they manufacture those who are going to go into the theater of war? You can't. It's obvious now that we don't have enough personnel to deal with this. As they are releasing their own figure at the state level, the Southern Kaduna People's Union is saying, see, in a matter of days, not quarter now, we lost 33 people. 219 homes and churches were burnt. So you can imagine the number of farmlands that would have been affected. So it means what we are getting from the government is conservative.
So that the figure of 774 is number of persons kidnapped over a quarter. A quarter is just 3 months.
3 months, yes.
774, almost 1,000
That's a figure supplied by the state government.
Not the one that will now go and begin to look for underneath, because there are people who would have been kidnapped that would have been released.
And over 10 billion was set to appear as ransom.
So we should understand it that now, as a country, we should be thinking beyond today. Because if we are taught beyond today, recruitment into the army, into the air force, into the navy will have been a thing of priority. Into the police.
Okay, we have Ade is calling us from the United Kingdom, London.
Good afternoon, my brothers. I greet all of you.
Good afternoon, Ade.
Yes, my worry is this now. It will get to a time that people would be knocking on people's door, common people, that please can you bring out your food? It's food we need. I don't pray get to that level because we don't know the crisis, how deep these crises are now in Nigeria. We know it here because we got messages for money all the time. This is a serious
from Nigeria.
Yeah. And our National Assembly, well, they are working. If you see them yesterday, they haven't dinner in Asoro. It's part of their work. But the poor people are hungry on the streets. So, apart from prayer, we need to work very hard because this thing, you get a time when you can't even buy your food and take it home. People will lay you and say, bring the food. And you give it to them because they are hungry. An hungry man is an angry man. We are joking with all these things.
Thank you, Ade. Thank you for your contribution. Just because if the people in Southern Kaduna and across the states, these bandits are still kidnapping students, and we still have some students with them, and the governor is saying, no, I am not going to negotiate with you guys. No, I'm not paying ransom.
That's
now left for the parents, strictly.
And that's what makes the situation truly very sad. It's like the government, raising up its hands in surrender and say, you guys, in fact, even the federal government has advised the state governors or henchmen of the state to go and manage their problem. Yeah. Shaking their responsibility.
Do they have the capacity? Are they in charge of police? Are they in charge of?
There's a lot of pretense. Everyone agrees that the security architecture of this country does no longer serve or meet its needs. Do you understand? And then you ask yourself, why is there so much tardiness about what to do in terms of taking the next step?
I'm telling you.
There's been call for state police.
I'm telling you.
Why is there no sense? Why is there no sense
to take the move? The National Assembly.
Why is there no sense of hurry?
Is it hurry of not even want to approve at all?
Yes, because people are comfortable with the status quo.
Maybe we are just trying to pamper it. And there's this lackadaisical attitude of things will sort out themselves. Maybe the population of Nigeria is even too much, so let's lose. It's a crazy thing. It's a crazy thing. And when the rest of the world begins to brand us as a state, as a country that is heading towards a failed state, we quarrel with it. That is the reality of the situation. A country where, in Borno, there were reports that ISWAP and Boko Haram have named governors for certain districts.
In Borno State?
Yes. The report is out. Yes, and we just fold our arms and think it's a child's play. It's happening. I mean, for Kaduna that is not even it's not explaining the war situation. The government says more than half of the local governments in Kaduna are under the control of bandits. Then you can imagine a Borno that is facing real war.
On guarded spaces.
And even Sokoto at the border end.
So now, my own, at the end of the day,
don't look good.
At the end of the day, when you want to look at way out, because it's not as if government is not doing anything. As of yesterday, there was a kind of airstrike in Zaria, Zamfara. 120 bandits were said to have been killed, but those information will not make headline because it's been eroded by stories of students, 200, 100, 150 students being abducted.
The truth is, these figures keep coming in, but what we are looking at now is our reality. What is on ground? If you wipe out 120, are we sure there aren't 1,200 or 12,200 waiting on the wings? Because if you are telling us that...
Doctor, let me interrupt you. How many bandits did the man in Zamfara tell Nigerians?
Over 30,000 in
Zamfara. To go to one school to kidnap students, over 200 of them went.
That's only Zamfara.
It's only Zamfara.
The governor. We're talking about data being reeled out by by state governors.
And so then you ask yourself,
we're the ones cooking it up.
If you put our army, navy, air force together in terms of figures, the bandits are almost outnumbering them, or they have even outnumbered them, because that's the meaning from what the governor said and from what we say. Okay, they are going to kidnap students, or they want to raid, and we have 200 bandits doing that raid. It means there will be many more in the bush waiting for them to return.